Our tour takes place in the center of Europe, close to the small village of Saint-Ursanne in the northwest of Switzerland. Beneath the surface lies a complex geology with many different layers. One of these layers consists of opalinous clay, which is being considered as a host rock for the final disposal of radioactive waste due to its low water permeability. Use the slider to hide the layers and to discover the tunnel system of the Mont Terri Underground Research Laboratory. Here you see the tunnel system of the Mont Terri Underground Research Laboratory. It has been extended further over the years. In real life, the Underground Research Laboratory can be reached via the safety gallery of the motorway tunnel visible in the background. Go to the next viewpoint to get an overview of the experiments conducted at Mont Terri. This is a selection of the most important experiments. Some have already been completed, others are still running, and new experiments are being planned consistently. Select an experiment by clicking on the sphere with the left mouse button to reveal a short description. This will also show you all the boreholes belonging to the experiment. Try to find the experiments CDA, FE, and FS. We will take a closer look at these in the following. Here you can see the cyclic deformation experiment, which aims to investigate the influences of the seasons on the properties of opalinous clay. For this purpose, two very similar niches were drilled next to each other. They each have a diameter of about 2 meters and are circa 11 meters long. The entrance to the left niche was closed while the connection of the right niche to the tunnel system was left open. The air exchange in the open niche causes the climatic conditions to be influenced by the seasons even so deep below ground. The closed niche allows comparative measurements without this influence and under well-controllable temperature and humidity conditions. In this view, the boreholes are colored according to the sensors placed in them. Later, we will look at the extensometer measurements in more detail. Select a borehole with a left mouse click to get more information about it. When you have finished exploring the boreholes, we will have a look at the measurements at the next viewpoint. Extensometers are sensors that measure the change of a length over time. In this visualization you can inspect changes relative to the first measurement. Segments colored green became longer over time while pink segments have shortened. As an additional dataset, the fault zones are superimposed as semi-transparent planes. Their transparency can be controlled using the upper slider. Use the slider at the bottom to change the current time step or to play the animation. Here you can see a simulation of the humidity in the rock over a period of roughly 5 years. The contour surfaces clearly show the differences between the right closed niche and the left open niche. This can be explained by the differences in air exchange. In this view, you see the same simulation data, but this time the contour surfaces are displayed opaque. The lower slider still controls the time. With the new upper slider you move a clipping plane. This allows you to select the focus of your exploration individually. We now move on to the full-scale emplacement experiment. Here, 3 heaters have been placed in a 50 meters long tunnel to investigate thermohydromechanical effects. The heating elements simulate containers of radioactive waste that emit heat. Go on to the next viewpoint to see simulation results for the full-scale emplacement experiment. This view shows you the results of a temperature simulation with a time span of roughly 15 years. Use the slider at the bottom to investigate the simulation results at different time steps. The temperature induced by the heaters affects also other characteristics of the rock. Here you see the simulated vertical stress as contour surfaces. Use the same slider as before to select a time step of your choice. This viewpoint illustrates the last experiment that we want to show you in our tour, the fault slip experiment. Here, the red surface represents a part of a fault in the opalinous clay. The fault slip experiment investigates the effects of increasing the water pressure in this structure. Water is pumped through a borehole into the fault in several steps of varying pressure. The diagram on the right-hand side displays the change of the degree of pressure over time. Here we show simulation results for the fault slip experiment. On the one hand, we have clipped the simulation's domain to show the displacement, and on the other hand we projected the fault opening onto the surface that represents the fault. In addition to the simulation results, you can see the currently applied pressure on the right-hand side. Use the slider at the bottom to select a time step. With this overview of the tunnel system and the 3 experiments we looked at in detail, our tour through the Mont Terri Underground Research Laboratory comes to an end.